Hey,
Hi, how are
back
you?
at last. We had a little
Yes,
break there, didn't we?
a long one, much needed one.
Yeah, we needed a little break
Yeah,
from our people here. Um, what's been nice is that I haven't had a single thought about this case.
yeah,
I think it's really an interesting case because it it does get very convoluted.
yeah,
Um, we were chatting before, and we were just talking about how things with these phone calls have actually started clearing up. But when we first watched the documentary,
yes,
there were so many unanswered questions, and they all seemed relevant, pertinent, and urgent.
mm-hmm.
And I would say that listening to these phone calls, there's a lot that, becomes clear actually.
Mm-hmm.
If you let the phone calls kind of seep into your system, if you really have a chance to space it out,
Yeah,
your deeper intelligence kind of kicks in. And it's interesting when you sit with something long enough that
mm-hmm.
certain things emerge. And I gotta say, I love the image that you found for us today.
Yeah.
I
I
would
was like, we have
say
to put,
they are on another planet.
yeah, yeah.
Just
Good
seems
point.
really apropos, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. And there's the silliness of it and
Mm-hmm.
the sort of disjunct kind of fits the phone calls, like the disconnection of
Yeah,
the images. Um, it really
mm-hmm.
fits. So I really enjoy it. I hope that people who are listening get a chance to really take in that image. And
Yeah,
I do feel like they are really disconnected in these phone calls from the urgent point of where is Sheena?
mm-hmm.
I think Rahul
Yeah,
absolutely thinks they're not in Goa, but on another planet.
yeah, yeah.
So well done. Uh, I thought what we'd do is we'd kind of play a little bit of last time just to get us
Yeah,
all back into the groove from the last episode and kind of hear some of what we heard before to get us deep into the next episode.
mm-hmm.
Now, would you do us all a favor and remind those people who may be finding this without having listened to the previous parts? Hard to imagine, but yeah, what we're listening to.
Sure. So the female that we see in the background on the image here, that's Sheena. She's the one who was allegedly murdered. She's missing. So we are listening to tapes between Rahul, who's Sheena's fiance. He's also the son of Peter and Indrani, who again we see in those astronaut suits on the image here. Rahul recorded these phone calls between the three of them, i.e., Rahul, Peter, and Indrani, in the 2 week following Sheena's so called disappearance. And we are finally on the last part of those phone calls. I
Right.
hope so.
And at this point in time, you know, there's been many stories that have been floated about where Sheena could be.
Mm-hmm.
And friends have been contacted. Her work has been contacted. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
her company sent people home to her house. And Rahul and Sheena were living together at this point, and they were engaged to be married.
Mm-hmm.
And um, for a number of these phone calls, Rahul is sitting in Mumbai, waiting desperately for the arrival of Sheena. Peter and Indrani had been in Goa. Now they are back in
Mm-hmm.
Mumbai, right? And so, and there's just been numerous conversations about what to do with this problem. Now, Rahul is way more straightforward, and
Mm-hmm.
he is just like, we need to just go to the police and file the report. And Peter and Indrani have elected to call a senior officer with the CBI. In other words, a person in law enforcement who is a contact of theirs, and to just put a trace on Sheena's phone, um,
Mm-hmm.
to try to see who she was in contact with and what is the phone usage and what are the numbers she was calling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we've
Mm-hmm.
heard a lot of stories. One of them being that, Sheena has basically run off with someone else, uh, that she has communicated with Indrani, who's her mother, that she wants out of this relationship with Rahul. There's been
Mm-hmm.
lots of conversation about that. And if you can hear in the background, that is Oscar having his lunch.
Oh, a
Oh,
mascot.
mascot is having lunch.
He surfaced finally.
He's
I've been waiting
surfaced.
for him.
He's been a little dozy this morning and
Oh.
getting his beauty sleep. So, but he's going after the dog dish now. So you'll hear the dog dish in the background as he gets all the remaining morsels of his food.
Nice.
So, um, I think it's important to understand that these stories have now been told to Rahul. He's been put in the understanding that Sheena has had this conversation allegedly with Indrani. It's been discussed between Indrani and Peter that she should be talking to Rahul about her decision. But basically, there's been no contact from Sheena from the point of April 24th,
Mm-hmm.
2012 to this point. Um,
Yeah, which is like a week and a half into the
right.
calls.
And these are called the murder tapes because a body was found, and it is alleged to be Sheena Bora's body.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that pretty much situates us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to say this one thing, and I think you made a good point about how the documentary was unclear, but these calls sort of shed light um, on the supposed involvement of these parties. And I think if you like listen to the calls, it's there's a lot of stories, like you just said. But I think what makes everyone's involvement clearer is the fact that there are so many stories by the last person who was supposedly with Sheena, which is Indrani. So there's like this obvious obfuscation of facts, which shouldn't be there if you aren't really involved. And I think that's what makes it clearer that there could be some guilt here, as far as Indrani is concerned.
Right.
So what they're saying, what I'm trying to say basically is like the content of what they're saying is not what is making it clearer for us about their involvement, but the different kinds of stories and their efforts to conceal what seems to be the truth is
Yeah. I mean,
the
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And, I mean, it becomes painfully obvious that there is no true desire to get to the bottom of this. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of activity, supposedly, seemingly, but is there?
Right.
Not the most direct path. It's
No.
not the most direct path, and um, things get revealed over the course of time of these phone calls in which you kind of think, why didn't you just start off with that?
Mm.
Um, if she had run away with someone else, so the one of the narratives is that it should be Sheena's decision and she should act and tell Rahul. They should wait and for her to do that before they say anything. And that's kind of why we're here days later still talking about what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
including us.
sorry?
Including us. We're here
Yeah,
days later talking about that too.
right, totally.
Yeah.
It is hard to imagine that it's taken us. I think we've done what? This is part 5, and I
Yeah.
think we've done, each part that we've done has probably been a couple hours long. Now, today we should be
Yes.
wrapping up in this episode the phone calls, but it is kind of crazy that there is that much to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how kind of goofy some of these tracks are in what they're, saying are the facts. So let's jump
Yes.
in and pick it up where we left off, and
That's
and
good.
pe- and we can see we don't really expect those things to change, do we?
No.
We're gonna be there on another planet shortly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just pulling up the tapes,
All right.
quote unquote, and here we go.
Sorry, I didn't get that. What did you say?
I said I'm not out to cause problems for anyone. I'm not trying to get anyone. I have no, nothing like that. All I'm trying to do is find out what's gone on here with Sheena and what's happened to her, if anything. God
Yeah,
forbid.
yeah.
Um,
No, I can understand. I can understand your kind of, worried because for you it is just like, out of the blue, she suddenly kind of, and okay, now there is a thing, okay, so in fact, it is because Papa had insisted that she has to inform. She wanted to just leave. Let me tell you that also. Papa had insisted that you have to inform. You cannot just leave. You can, because people will be worried if you just decide to just, walk out in the morning and, leave. It doesn't work that way. For precisely this reason. Exactly this reason. This reason that you have to, I'm going to detail about, please, I think at least one person will tell them where you are, if somebody your contact forwarding, in their rubbish. I don't know that. She must inform.
exactly. I mean, there's a procedure by which to do things, and a responsible kind of way of doing things, which would not leave this kind of situation happening.
Anyway, at this point, I'm not really worried, Rahul, but I would, let us see.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing much we can do getting worried, no?
Yeah, correct.
There's nothing much. Yeah, so let us not, at this point, I think, as much. Yeah, let's wait till Thursday, or even I would say even till Friday. Okay, let's wait. Let's give a day's grace. And for some reason, if nobody till then hears, you don't hear, I don't, if that doesn't hear, I don't, nobody back at home hears, then we will take a call at that point. Now, if she contacts anybody, even if she contacts someone in Guwahati, then we know that, okay, she's fine and, then let's, we will move on. Then, of course, she needs to kind of do whatever formality she has to do at work. Or something. If I want to get in touch with you, but let her put in her resignation, whatever she wants to do, let her do all that.
Correct.
I'm not counting so much on, her getting in touch with you. As long as she gets in touch with somebody.
Yeah, that's cool, whatever. As long as somebody knows that she's okay, somebody who's, somebody who hears her voice, or somebody who, speaks to her and can verify that, yeah, she's fine. Hello?
Okay, I think this is a new phone call.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something. I'm just going to pause it there. There's something that's kind of just dawned on me. And I think maybe this is really obvious, but I feel like it needs to be said. And we have already talked about this, but you know what? it I don't know what it is. Just hearing that little bit again.
Yeah.
And actually, we were listening to the last phone call before we started this episode, just to remind ourselves. And in hearing it just again, something really dawned on me, which is if Indrani, particularly, was involved in Sheena's disappearance and or murder.
Mm-hmm.
She had to figure out, what am I going to say when she doesn't appear?
Mm-hmm.
Because she knows that she's the last person who is going to have seen Sheena officially, like, meaning that, that she knows for sure
Right.
that
Yes.
she is going to be the last person, even if there is a sort of a fake sighting that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that everyone else, the last person is going to be her for the family.
Yes.
So the thing is that if you, if you decide to take this action, which is to decide that this is Sheena's last day alive,
Mm-hmm.
you have to come up with a story that is going to explain her absence. Now, this is pretty obvious because we've been discussing it all along,
Mm-hmm.
but her decision is that, okay, I've got to explain her absence. What is going to be something that takes care of Rahul? Meaning, what is going to be something that is going to be enough to keep him from exploring further? Since they're
Yeah.
engaged, it's going to have to be pretty believable and good. He's not going to just buy anything. Everyone, all these people are not going to just buy any old story.
Right.
And it's got to be something that doesn't further complicate her position. And her saying that Sheena has run off with a guy.
Mm.
First it was like the property story,
Mm.
but that really couldn't go anywhere.
So are you saying she's trying different things to see how they're received? Like how compelling they are for Rahul?
Well, I think that there was a plan, and that plan wasn't happening. So I think that was the Nagpur plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's got to come up with something else. And she has to tell Peter something else. If he's not involved, it's got to be something that also Peter would feel emotional about, and enough to take a certain kind of strategy with his son.
Mm.
So it kind of, I'm saying this is if this is her brainchild,
Yeah.
or her plot,
Yeah.
she has to take care of Peter as well. So it's like, it's got to,
Mm.
kind of thwart Rahul, but it also has to take care of Peter.
Mm.
So isn't the best thing to do in this instance is to concoct a story like this for Peter as well, where it involves his son, where he would also be like willing to keep that secret. Because one of the things that just occurred to me while we were listening to it is that, really what doesn't make sense is they spend days not telling Rahul, where Sheena, they claim in this phone call itself that, oh, okay, so we need to tell you this, right? We know for
Mm-hmm.
sure there's a guy. Which guy it is, Nagpur, this Kurana, what is it? Kana, or was it
Nishant.
Nishant
Kurana?
Kurana
Kurana.
or Kana?
Kurana, I think.
Kana? Yeah. I couldn't remember which surname. So, the guy for her is not such an important thing, right? Who the guy is not so important, as long as he's something distant. in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But think about, how does she get Peter to go along with this as well? Because Peter's sort of, whatever said and done, he's typically a man of action. So how can she keep him from reporting also? How can she keep his mind going in a direction that doesn't become problematic?
Mm.
So this is a story which gets him to say, okay, I'm not going to, that's something Sheena needs to tell Rahul. Now, I'm not saying that he couldn't also be aware and also say, okay, we can say this, and that delays
Yeah.
the process of Rahul taking action. Or I'm not saying
Yeah.
that, but I think it fits more perfectly with Indrani trying to keep these two gentlemen on a certain kind of track. She knows that their relationship is strained,
Mm-hmm.
right? There is some distance in the relationship, and it involves her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that this is some kind of earth-shaking idea, but I am, because we've been discussing it, but I think it's more obvious and commonsensical than
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I gave her credit for, if you will.
Mm.
If she has to explain where Sheena is, even to Peter, then it best involve something that keeps him from also taking action.
That makes sense, actually.
Does this sound repetitive from previous episodes? I don't know why it's dawning on me in a different way, but I realize that this is a story that would. So these guys haven't revealed this information. We find out in this particular phone call that Peter supposedly spoke to Sheena.
So I had a thought that dawned on me too, and I'm going through the same thing that you are, which is like, is this repetitive? And what I was thinking of was, which is in the same vein as what you've just said, which is that there's a certain kind of posturing to keep Rahul at bay and to like not have him take action by saying that, hey, we told Sheena before she disappeared that she needs to inform you if she's going to go ahead and run off with a guy. So it's sort of conveying to Rahul, to me at least, that we were considerate of your feelings then and we are considerate of your feelings now. But at the same time, Indrani is like, I don't expect Sheena to get in touch with you. Even though this was our guidance to Sheena, that she should get in touch with you and inform you about what her intentions are, we're still not relying on that. But I think what makes me suspicious, even though this running off with a guy is a compelling story that she's come up with, is that now Peter is chiming in and saying that I did speak to Sheena and I did tell her that she needs to speak with you and inform you before she does anything like that, or even like what in this period that she supposedly disappeared. So I think Indrani has done like a smart thing in that sense. If she is guilty and she's trying to, get these guys to not take action, and get off her back. But also, I think at the same time, it's curious to me that Peter would inject himself in the story, in the narrative, and say that I spoke with Sheena directly, suggesting that he knew that Sheena is also running off with this guy at the same time that Indrani was, or around the same time that Indrani was.
Okay, so let's play that out a little bit. Imagine this. Indrani's on the phone. Peter thinks it's Sheena. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Indrani says, just a second, maybe she is speaking in Assamese.
Mm-hmm.
And she puts, let's say she holds the cell phone close to her to block out the sound, and she says to Peter, Sheena wants to break it off with Rahul.
Mm.
And he says, "You've what?" Well, and that she wants to run away with another guy. And then he loses it on that because we already understand that he finds that reprehensible, but also life. So he's got two positions there. Like, such a woman is not worth it, but also, Rahul, you should accept this is life. It's odd, it's strange, it's weird, whatever. That whole thing. But then he is saying that I have spoken to her because he actually believes that she is on the line. So for Peter, he always seems to be, all his communications that we've seen thus far are, you know, he's on speakerphone, you know, Indrani's listening in. These two seem to have this kind of relationship where, you know, it's not unusual for them to both be talking, you know, to someone. And, you know, one is shepherding the conversation. Like at one point, one person's holding the phone and then putting it on speakerphone. But basically each of them is, you know, whoever has the phone, the other one's overhearing everything and thinks that they're a part of the conversation. So it's like, did he hear her voice? I think in Peter's mind, that's speaking to her. Yeah, tell her this, you know, or he yells into the phone. You need to tell him and not really listen to. I mean, they both seem to like leave the phone, go in and out of the room. We've heard that, right? We've heard where one will pick up the phone for a few minutes and then hand it over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been frequent.
And yell in the background to convey information.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, what Indrani could have said is, this is what she wants to do. And then Peter would have his look. And then she could say, no, Sheena, you can't do that. And then Peter would be like, absolutely. She can't, she has to tell him, you know? And this is him. You know, I have no horse in the race. I'm just saying that I think it's very clear that Indrani's absolutely capable of pulling off that kind of a farce. You know, she's absolutely capable of orchestrating, is the word I was searching for. Orchestrating such a theater performance. Theatrical performance.
Yes.
You know, because if you remember the part of that call, and I am sorry to listeners because, you know, we're really talking about last episode's phone call, set of phone calls where a lot of this gets discussed. But this thing that even when he was saying, yeah, I spoke to her, he wasn't very convincing. Firstly, I remember him not being convincing, and also it wasn't like stated in clear terms. It was sort of like a muffled thing. Yeah, you know, like it didn't sound correct.
Yeah.
Or real. And it, you know, I think it is possible. Like, I have no interest in finding anybody guilty or anybody innocent. I'm only saying that if we take on the totality of phone calls to this moment, that I can actually imagine that Indrani being the person who was there, that is self-confessed, right? I was there. I dropped her here. Peter wasn't there. He wasn't even in the country, is the thing. So, you know, this could all have been orchestrated.
So to me, it sounded like Peter actually spoke with her. But I do get what you're saying. It's not clear how the communication happened. If it was over text, if it was through Indrani, it was through just yelling in the background when Indrani's painting a certain picture. But he also used the word inform. So inform could mean that if the scenario that you just painted, which is Indrani saying, tell Sheena she can't run away with another guy, without informing Rahul, and he just yells that in the background, the way he just did that with
Yes. Hmm.
call with Rahul. So maybe that could be his version of informing.
Yeah, and you remember that's like was a really late ad that he spoke to her. I mean, there was a conversation like we've heard from her, but he never said that he spoke to her until this call, the end of this call that we're listening to now. So it just dawned on me, like, even though we've been discussing this, like,
Yeah.
these are stories. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. First it's this, first it's that. But when you really think about the practical nuts and bolts of how 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 do you explain somebody's absence? If you're coming from that point of view, that let's say she did do this, and now she's got to figure out a plan, which is also to say there was a plan,
Mm-hmm.
which is also to say that there's something that now the question then would become for me, did she already have this in her mind, or was there something in the conversation
Mm.
that changed the game? And I tend towards the latter,
Mm.
but I don't know. Like it's definitely something that has been on my mind previously.
Yeah.
What actually happened? What happened? Why now?
Yeah.
You know, I
What
know
set
that.
it off?
Yeah, I mean, there were rumors later that Sheena was pregnant. We don't have any, solid information on that. Um,
Yeah.
m- you know, but it's like what could have been discussed that would have, what could have been discussed or what could have been happening that made a requirement for Sheena to be murdered. And
Yeah. I think what I also don't get is that if, again, I don't want to, delay us too much over here, but also, when did they have this conversation about Sheena wanting to run away with this guy and then Peter telling her that she needs to inform Rahul? If they were both out of the country and Peter was out of the country longer than Indrani was, when did this conversation really happen? Because also there's this claim that these guys weren't in touch with each other for at least a couple of years before the incident took place. So, which also makes me question what is really Peter's role here?
see, I would think that these conversations happened after for Peter. Again, going on this idea that
Oh.
this happened with Indrani and only Indrani. If you think about it now, so this was in the night, right? That all of this would have taken place. And
Mm-hmm.
uh there is the question of Sheena's brother who claimed to have met Indrani that night himself, and that he narrowly escaped with his life, according to him, and that she had some meeting at like 2 in the morning, right? So
Mm.
whatever the case, I think that then we hear that she heard from Sheena the next morning, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
that would be, given Peter's conversation to this point, I think it would have been that morning, and Indrani's story would be like, yes, we met. She wanted to tell me that, she's wanting to extricate herself from this relationship, that she wants to do studies abroad potentially, that she has another man that she's interested in.
Mm. I see what you mean. The most sinister approach. Just kidding.
Well, I mean, she's got to now explain everything
Yeah. Yes.
about, you know, the money that she gave money is something that's really on her mind. Now, she's used that she gave her money to cast shade on Sheena's
Yeah.
character, but it's also money that she's taken, right? Like she's removed money, one would think, right? So
Mm-hmm.
where did that money go, if not with Sheena? Did it go to the driver?
Mm.
You know, she seemed to have been very preoccupied with that. I gave her that money, so it was all about the money.
Yeah.
So, Peter's now not expecting that money back. So, I mean, just thinking about it from that direction, like really putting like rubber to road here, if she was involved, she'd have quite the problem either way, whether there was some premeditation to it or whether there wasn't. She needs to explain where this woman is, her daughter. Everybody knows that they're meeting after a long time. How do you
Mm-hmm.
backtrack that? Okay, you can only own it.
That's actually what you said. That's pretty interesting because if this was a spur of the moment thing, that's something that triggered her, that led, if Indrani's guilty and if she was involved in the murder of Sheena, then it would make sense that she would try to do what you said, which is after the disappearance, make Peter think that she's on the phone with Sheena and then make it sound like he needs to inform Sheena that she needs to inform Rahul that she's going to run away with another guy. So that would make sense if it wasn't premeditated.
Well, and remember, and I'm going to keep going with this. Remember that we heard in these calls also that according to the CBI guy, Sheena's phone pinged by the domestic airport where Indrani was also in that area because she had a flight to take. Okay, so that
Yeah.
if she was involved in this, she would have Sheena's phone. What is the use of Sheena's phone? To keep everybody guessing for a while, right? She can communicate as Sheena, which means also that imagine this scenario that it's the next day. Now she's been thinking about this and trying to plan this whole thing out. She goes in one room. She calls from Sheena's phone, right?
Mm.
She goes into another room. Her phone is ringing. Oh, I wonder who that is, announces. Huh. She's like, oh, it's aloud, right? Oh, it's Sheena. Or she picks up the phone and shows it to Peter like, look who it is. Sheena. Because I'm sure she did that. Like, if this was the way it was going down, right? This is the way it happened. She would definitely be showing that phone, her phone, showing that Sheena has called.
Yeah.
Right?
That's really
And,
gutsy.
yeah, but I think she is gutsy, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about her shows that she's gutsy. So then it's like, okay, so now Peter has registered, oh, it's Sheena. Right? So she has some la-di-la-da kind of conversation, right? And then she can carry off this whole thing without him even, or she can say, go ahead and talk to her, right? And she hands the phone to him, and he just, Peter is not like what I would call, like, doesn't come
Hi, how
off.
are you?
Yeah, it's just, he would just be like,
Yeah.
well, Sheena, if you're going to do that, you got to do this. Like, giving orders.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
there's silence, he's not going to make much of that other than she's done, like she's just listening and maybe shocked or upset. And then what is he going to do? He's going to hand that phone right over to Indrani. You manage the people. You manage this. This is your, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's
Yes.
always managing everything.
Yeah, especially if Peter's not particularly fond of Sheena, which he doesn't seem to be. At least that's the picture
Well,
that's been
he
painted to him.
definitely wouldn't be at this moment, right? If he learns that she's going to dump Rahul after all the disrupt in the family, the estrangement from his son. I mean,
Right.
for him, she's caused problems for his relationships with, relationship with his son. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she's not going to be his favorite person. Now,
Yeah.
think about this and tell me what you think. So they meet each other, Sheena and Indrani, right? They're talking. And what did Rahul believe Sheena's purpose for all of this to be? For Sheena to meet Indrani? because he said that she was upset that there was some kind of separation between father and son over
Yes.
her.
Yes.
So now imagine that that is what Sheena is going to talk about. Now, Rahul had also said that, you know, if you're able to go to school and they're willing to support you, then forget about me. Go do that. We'll meet some other time in life. Correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So imagine that that is what Sheena's intention is. I've got to repair this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's kind of interesting because this is a topic that I don't know is much of one of happiness for Indrani. Now she lost control over Sheena, right? Sheena has revealed that she's not a sister, but that she's a daughter. We got to kind of remember what has taken place to imagine this conversation. So that Indrani is coming from, okay, not only have I brought you down here, done everything for you, but you told everybody,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you and your brother are ungrateful, basically. Number one. Number two, you've caused problems in my relationship with my husband, and you've run off with the son of my husband?
Mm.
Do you really expect me to be so happy about that? Right? And I'm sure that they had a lot of discussions about that. And the thing is that you are now talking to me after not talking to me for 3 years out of the blue. So you must want money.
That's interesting because it could also mean that if Sheena's trying to repair everybody's relationship with each other, that could also threaten Indrani's position in the future, especially because what it seems to be is that Rahul is not the biggest fan of Indrani and never was. So she doesn't know what additional problems can happen for Indrani, even though she seems to be pretty secure with Peter. It could have a financial impact. It could mean that there are some
Absolutely.
decisions business wise that affect her, and she seems to be ambitious and she wants to be a successful businesswoman. So it could mean different kinds of threats if these relationships are repaired. And who knows if Indrani was the reason why these relationships split apart in the first place
Well,
4 years
absolutely.
ago. So it's
Absolutely.
like it's undoing everything that she's tried to do so far.
Well, imagine this, that now, so if Indrani is like, you know, if you think that you're going to come into this family now and take over, because remember, Indrani is likely to project, right? What the kinds of things that she's done onto her daughter. I'm just saying, right? That imagine the threat to her if, you know, Peter really starts liking Sheena. She's involved now in every family matter. Like when you're talking about this reunion, absolutely it's going to cause problems for Indrani. It means a loss of control. But beyond that, you know, there's inheritance going on here.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And she's the younger version. And she's potentially the bright star that's going to rise.
Yeah. Yes.
And she might be like, I'm not going to fund you now. I'm not going to fund the, like, in other words, you have corrupted my life. You went out. I had told you what was acceptable, that you're my sister. You blew that wide up. And now you want me to be happy for you? You're taking my husband's son and getting involved in my life?
There's a potential motive.
Absolutely.
We've been looking for one for a while.
We have really been looking for one for a while. So, you know,
not saying this is it, but it could be.
Well,
Could
I
be.
think that Indrani worked really hard to kind of separate father and son. I think there's evidence in the phone calls
Yeah.
that would support that. That it's kind of better for her when they are estranged, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, she's in control basically.
So could so if Sheena shows up and she's saying, these guys are, I think we should all get along. Why does she think that it requires her to go to Indrani? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is Indrani? Why can't she go to Peter and say, look, this is breaking my heart. I don't want you guys separated because of me.
Yeah.
Why does she have to work
Again,
it through Indrani?
yeah, I mean, again, this might be obvious, but it's like Indrani has painted a certain picture of everybody to everyone else to keep them apart, and she's the only common thread between them in some
Exactly.
sense. And with Peter and Rahul, it doesn't matter because she's managed to keep them separate from each other. So it's like if I make Sheena look bad in front of Peter, he's not going to want to talk to her. If I've made Peter look bad in front of Sheena, she's not going to feel like she can go to him directly. So if she's involved, she's managed to keep all of these players separate from each other, and she's
Right.
the only common one who can take things to each other between them.
Well, she's lied to all of them, is my
All
guess.
of them. Yeah.
And
Yes.
she's done divide and conquer. And
Yes.
so now it's like, and here's the other thing, to that end of trying to repair everything. Does Sheena say, listen, I know a few things that
Mm.
like other people don't know. And I'm just saying that I think we should all get along, right? I really wouldn't want to have to say some of the things I know.
You think she's capable of that?
Strong enough to do that? I think she's secure in Rahul's love.
Mm.
I think for the first time in her life, she feels like she has somebody in her corner who has some power. And Rahul himself has demonstrated that he is no pushover. He's a very
Yeah.
smart cookie. Now, you got to think, what would threaten Indrani?
Yeah. I can see that playing out if Sheena's primary purpose is to get Rahul and Peter talking, which it seemed to be. She wouldn't care to threaten Indrani if all she really cares about is father and son talking again. It's not so much about her relationship with Indrani, which I'm guessing she would have loved to repair. But I also feel like if she's putting Rahul before herself and just wants to get that piece sorted, maybe she feels like Indrani is unreachable and she's never going to have that motherly love with Indrani. She would go to that extent and threaten Indrani to get Peter and Rahul talking. I can see that playing out.
Well, I don't think she thinks there's a hope in hell for her
Yes.
relationship with Indrani. So
Yeah.
that's already scorched earth. I'm
Yeah.
thinking she's thinking, okay, want to marry this guy. My
Yes.
husband to be is suffering. We want to
Mm.
have a happy wedding. We want to bring the family together. We'll have to bring the family together to be thrown a wedding. And you can
Mhm.
imagine Indrani say, do you think now we're going to throw a wedding for you? You think we're
Mm.
going to pay for that? And you think we're going to make some big deal? And maybe Sheena's like, I'm earning my own money. We can do our own thing. We don't need, all I'm
Yeah.
trying to do here is, I think we should bring these two back together. But see, that's
Mhm.
against what Indrani wants. She would
Yeah.
probably be like, you guys do your own thing. You've already split up the family. So you can imagine, but there has to be some kicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where I think that maybe Sheena would have courage to say something to Indrani. I think she obviously was wanting to keep out of Indrani's way, but I also think that now that she's secure with her relationship with Rahul, you know,
Mhm.
she is going to be his wife, that she's got a little pull in this situation, right? Because she can create trouble if she wants to.
You know what just occurred to me is
Hmm.
that Sheena was always there. Mikhail was the one who was sent away, but Sheena was the one who was always living with
Hmm.
Peter and Indrani, it seems, in their Burley
Hmm.
house.
Hmm.
So she may have seen, and there was also this rumor that apparently the new business that Indrani was trying to launch, the media conglomerate, that
Hmm.
tanked because there was some financial stuff that went down. So
Right.
who knows what Sheena heard, what she oversaw,
That's what I
what,
mean.
yeah, she may have seen something she wasn't supposed to see, just been keen enough to notice things, and then use that as a threat against Indrani.
Hmm.
Maybe a stretch,
Well, and then
but
there's all of Indrani's past,
past, yes, yes. Yeah,
which might be like one secret too many for Peter.
yeah. There's enough ammo there.
Hmm. Interesting, right?
Yeah, I can't believe we're still uncovering things. We haven't even begun listening to the calls, and we're
I,
we're already.
I, I know. I don't know. I mean, we've been talking about this whole time, but I just, I went like, really, if she has to explain this girl's absence,
Yeah, yeah. Something clicked.
something really clicked on a deep level.
Yes.
Well, I don't even know how to go from here other than to continue to listen and see what else we might, what
Yep.
might, what else might come up, or, maybe it'll be confirmation, or maybe it'll invalidate.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey. What happened? What's that?
Hi. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. Of course, the friends go, so they will tell us only as much as they want to tell us. Right?
Yeah,
So
fair.
I am not counting of anything, what the friends are saying, whatever. I don't want to go by that. If she touches base with anybody in the family, as of, anybody back home or us, then we know for sure that she's all right, and then we let go. I think that's how, it has to be, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, let go is one thing, but we'll have to wait and see.
Huh?
We'll have to wait and see, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something you can just let go, so...
No, when I'm saying let go, I was let go of, tearing our hair apart and, kind of, at least we hear that she's fine and, but one of us basically need to just hear from her, whether it is Papa, whether it is me, whether it is, Mikhail, somebody has to hear.
Correct. All right.
Yeah, she is also, tomorrow if she doesn't want to get in touch, we can't force her that, no, you have to talk to Rahul, we can't say
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, she might just not want to, then but let her call any of us and we wait till Thursday. If she doesn't contact any of us, then we will discuss next what to do and, check on the flight where she's gone and what she's done.
All you need to do is, if you do hear from her, just get her on track, get her to go and do her post-graduation and get her to, have a really good career and a good time and a good life. That's all you need to do. Okay?
No, you don't worry about, listen, Rahul. I would obviously do what is best for her, but she needs to tell me honestly what is going on. Okay, then I can do. Now, once she has come to chat with me on a post-graduation thing, that was the initial contact with me, started off with that. And then it went to a completely different angle about some different guy in some Bentley, okay? Whose name she has not disclosed to me.
Right.
But then if she's not going to be honest with me, and this is happening again a second time around with me, Rahul? So it is, then one needs to be absolutely sure that I am not just going to go and, tell her, listen, you take this much money and after she hooks up with somebody else, it doesn't work that way, no?
Well, the sound.
I had another thought.
Okay. Go on.
Which was something not totally related to the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a discrepancy, right? That Peter knew or didn't know that Indrani had previous children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
Yes.
Indrani says, of course, Peter knew. Peter definitely knew. I had 3 cesarean sections. There's 3 scars.
Right.
You know, just going off the bit of one secret too many, if he did not know that, if he was not aware that Indrani had these 2 children, I
Yeah.
think it's possible that one more thing like that would be the end of the marriage. What do you think? Or at least very risky, given the fact that, the company that they put together that Indrani was the CEO of, crashed and burned.
Yeah.
Like, what is the line then?
Yeah, I think that's also interesting because when this case first came out, um, like back in 2012 when Indrani was considered a suspect, people, and by people I mean like journalists and media folks, they found out that she had 2 husbands before. So who knows, like when that Forbes article came out and she was like, one of the top women, considered one of the top business women in the country or in the world, whatever that was. If there was something that came out about Indrani's past that Peter became aware of that he didn't know before, and then the company crashes, and then there's a threat of, I have 2 other children that I never told you about. So it is possible, like there were things that were uncovered in the past, or even if not, I think just with the company crashing, which was like that was a pretty embarrassing moment for these two, it seemed like. I mean, it
Mhm.
obviously would be. And then to have this other fact be disclosed that I have 2 other children, that could be pretty big, like a big blemish on their image, which is already tarnished.
Well, and there has been that thing that there was quite a bit of money considered to have gone missing from investors, and that
Yes.
some of it was parked in Sheena Bora's name, which, of course, it
Oh.
would be a major motive. Um,
Oh, I
but
didn't know that.
yeah. Um, but when that was discovered, I think was later. But
Mm,
again, this is getting awfully complicated, right? Like keeping all
yeah.
these secrets is getting difficult. But I was just thinking that had, like, maybe Peter's able to understand that, okay, let's say Peter did not know. Let's say that
Mhm.
this was news to him because, Indrani said, we don't want this to get out. Like, I don't think she's going to confess to the kids that, he doesn't know about all of this. She kind of, according to the documentary, kind of said, like, see, he's got a position in society and that should not be disturbed. And if he knew,
Yeah.
if it was known that you all existed, and we hadn't brought you out, like, in society and all of that, it could disturb his position
Yeah.
societally. Okay, that's not to say that Peter knew or didn't know, right? I don't think she would tell them if he knew or didn't know, really,
Yeah.
because that's like a weak point then, right, for her.
Yes.
Um, but if he didn't know, and then he came to know, and he decided, okay, people have passed, they do lie. Maybe he was sort of like, okay, that's not a good thing.
Hmm.
But people do lie. Maybe she cried, maybe she begged, whatever. But if there was anything like that, another thing.
Yeah. That's actually, that would make, if Peter knew that, or if he didn't know that Sheena is the daughter,
Yeah,
then
not
her running
originally.
off, yeah, her running off with Rahul makes Indrani even in a worse off position for Peter. It's like, she's your daughter and you're allowing her to be dating my son, which makes that even more complicated that they have a romantic relationship. Versus if she is the sister, then it's sort of still okay. But if it's the daughter, that's not good. And also, I think it's interesting. This is sort of like an unrelated.
So are you saying, wait a minute, let me just clarify before you go further, and I hate to interrupt you, but I want to be clear.
No, that's okay.
Doesn't he already know at this point that Sheena is her daughter?
Yes.
Right? Okay, so that's clear. I just want to make sure the listeners are also clear.
Yes.
That he definitely knows at this moment in time, at this moment of these phone calls, that Sheena is Indrani's daughter. So you're not
Yes.
talking about this particular moment, correct?
No, I'm
Okay,
saying,
just wanting to make that clear for everyone.
yeah, I'm saying that back when Sheena and Rahul started dating, if Peter didn't know, Indrani looks even worse. If she does know, she obviously knows this is her daughter, not her sister, and she didn't
Mm,
intervene when Sheena and
mm,
Rahul started dating. So to
yes,
Peter, she would look even worse if she didn't say that up front and she let these two guys start dating each other.
right.
And also,
Mm,
this unrelated point, but it fits here somewhere, is that Indrani is claiming that Sheena's done the same thing that Indrani did when
mm-hmm,
she got along with Peter.
mm-hmm,
It's the same thing.
mm-hmm,
And I don't know if Peter knows that even.
hmm.
So complex. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, this is interesting. That's all I
Hmm.
can say. Just somehow about like how many of these kinds of secrets can one handle before one says, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
That seems to me a very likely motive because I do feel that I think it's very clear that Indrani has quite a bit of influence over his wife. I mean, that Indrani has quite a bit of influence over her husband just from
Yeah.
these phone calls.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. I agree.
All right.
Okay.
I don't think that's a segue. I'm soothing myself now.
Okay.
Maybe it just took me another 40 seconds to go, wait a minute, if that's true, then
Yeah.
anyway,
Brain is
yeah.
calibrating.
And there was something about the way Rahul was responding. I mean, he really is. I mean, he was the one to push Sheena to like get this exposed, right?
Yes.
See,
Yes.
Viddi. So see, that's already upsetting for Indrani, right? Like
Yes.
you're upsetting the apple cart here. She's not going to take too many earthquakes. I can say that.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
like to lose control.
yeah. Yeah. And involving her daughter, who she actually considers daughter, and like
Like
tainting that. How
like an
could you?
official daughter. Like
Yes.
like a rubber stamped daughter also.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um well, let's jump in. Sorry. Here we go.
Well, the sad thing is that unfortunately she's obviously felt that she's in a position where this is the only option for her to, get her help for her MBA or for her post graduation. So sadly, she's felt that she's in a bit of a spot.
No, but she was due to send me her entire portfolio, okay, which I've been telling her. I don't know, I might have it on emails also. Okay, I said that we'll go and talk to Joe Johnson and see if we can get her in wherever. All of that. Joe Johnson is a friend of Papa's, who's a member of the parliament. Okay.
Okay.
He's Boris Johnson's younger brother.
Okay. Cool.
I am still awaiting her email. She has never sent me an email on that. Because
I'm going to just suggest that this is Rahul fishing, throwing something out that he doesn't really mean to see what comes back.
Yeah.
Okay.
she said that I will So I mean, now I realize, that I mean, that was never the intent, Because she said, I said, you have to give me all your details. You have to give me details of your details of your education, details of your, the entire, there's a file that you need to share with them. And then I went to the extent of telling her that if you need to come down and meet people at the universities, that also you can do. I said, you let me know, whatever, and I said, once, but you first send me those documents, you send me those documents, then based on that,
that's the same thing she told me. That's the same thing she told me. That's the same thing that she told me.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I never received those documents till today. Okay. She never seen them to me. And every time I talk to her, I tell her about that. Just send the documents, email the documents to me, because otherwise I said it's completely meaningless, I can't just go and say, okay, there's a person by the name of Sheena Bora. It doesn't work that way,
No, I mean, I think she's applied to several places and she's been accepted in a few places, and so it's all that process and that procedure is actually already started and almost at an end.
Sorry? Did you say something?
That process and that procedure is actually already started and almost at an end. It's almost completed.
No, I don't know what she has told you. Again, she told me she had got into Eavesdrop.
It's actually already started and almost at an end. It's almost completed.
No, I don't know what she has told you. Again, she told me she had got into Eavesdrop after that. Whatever she could organize the finances. Then, she sent me a list of unis earlier, because I don't have that mail right now. She did send me a list of unis. And then there were the Easter holidays and all that. Then I told her, I said, when I if I contact anybody in the unis, I said the first thing that you would need to do is they would ask me for your entire credentials, like from your educational thing and all, but she never sent me that.
Oh well, so I hope we hear something from her in a few days' time. That's all we can hope for really at this stage, isn't it? So
yeah.
Otherwise, we're just literally going around in circles with sort of this information, that information, possibly this thing, possibly that thing. We need to hear her voice. We need to hear her. And like you say, she's a grown-up girl. She's a strong girl. She can talk for herself. She did it once before, 3-4 years ago, when there was a bit of a bust up, and she left Whirly home and came with me and whatnot. So she's done it once before. Yeah. She can stand up for herself if she needs to.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. She's done it once earlier, so she knows she's a strong girl. Everything, all that is there. But as long as anyway, let's wait. I think Rahul, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's wait till Thursday, unless I hear something from Devin. Suddenly, if I hear that, listen, she's taken a flight to so and so place. Then, we know, okay, she's gone to this place and, but if I don't hear, then I suppose, we'll just wait till Thursday,
Where is her phone at the moment? I mean, did Devin Bharti not tell you that? He didn't tell you where the...
The last thing he said that, there was a call, and after that, he didn't say anything.
Okay.
After that, he hasn't spoken to me, Rahul, because he did say that, yesterday was Sunday, so it'll be sometime today or whatever. Yeah, he was going to Delhi, Just talk to Papa, Rahul,
Hi. Hello.
She's gone off to get Sheena's phone.
Out of the phone, yeah.
And ready and do poo and everything. Can I call you back?
Yeah, I'll speak to you later.
Yeah. Or will I see you this evening?
Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure, to be honest, Papa. I don't know. I've got stuff to do today myself as well. So if I'm done by then yeah. Otherwise, I don't know.
Okay.
I'd like to, but this is quite serious at this stage. I'm feeling a little perturbed.
What's that?
I said I'd love to. I'd really like to see you again before your flight and whatnot. But if I can't, then I've got to try and find out what this is all about, what's happening here. So I've got to do what I can. I cannot just sit and wait. You know, as much as I'd like to, I just cannot. I'll go mad. I'll probably do something stupid to myself if I have to do that. So.
Well, look, you do what you have to do. I think if you have to go looking around the place, try and find out where she is and all that, that's you know, I guess. I can only tell you what, A, what I would do, and B, what I think, what I understand the situation to be. So after that, you know, it's your call, you and, you know, whoever else.
Hey, Papa, am I on speakerphone?
Okay, now you're not.
Okay, can you just tell me what hotel you booked for Indrani and Cal?
It's the Tully Guns Club.
Which one?
Tully Club. It's called the Tully Guns Club.
Okay, cool. And that was...
And I've got the bills and everything. The bills are in Bombay.
Okay.
So it's not as though she didn't go stay there or whatever.
No, cool. Cool.
All right?
Yeah. All right. So I hope she's all right. All right.
Look, I think she'll be fine. Okay? I personally think so.
You know, you're asking me about you asking me about body language and did I get any information at all that she wasn't happy? And no, not at all. We've just got engaged.
You wouldn't. No, I know. I'll tell you why I'm saying I asked you that for two reasons. One is whether sometimes you get an inkling. Sometimes, you know, darling, if I'm having I've told you this, if I was having an affair with somebody, the last person to find out is my partner. Okay? Because you just have to do that.
But it's not about the last person. Nobody else knows anything. You know, sometimes if I was having an affair,
nobody else will own up. Nobody else will own up. That's the thing. They're all her friends. Right? Yeah. I wouldn't expect my friends to go and bleat out my wife if I'm having a secret affair, okay?
Yeah. Just, you know, she's not under too much pressure.
I can understand your friends telling you that, look, she's not having an affair. Okay? But if you're having an affair with a third person, your friends will know about it. But if you fancy somebody, seeing them on the quiet or whatever, maybe not a full-blown affair, then your friends are not going to go and tell Sheena. In this case, they're not your friends.
Correct.
So you can deduce whatever you like from any of it.
But I can. Look, I've spent the last. I would say good luck to you. But what you're saying to me is kind of a bit moot. It's a bit silly because I've spent the last however long with Sheena, day in day out. Right? I would know if she's talking to somebody else, other than if she's at work doing it. Then
you think you would? Of course you would. Of course you would. You would think you would.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, well, you didn't.
Yeah. Correct. People
are married to other people for 15, 20 years and they still don't know when somebody's having an affair.
Yeah.
So it all depends on how, you know, on one hand, how believing a partner is and how smart the other partner is. Okay? I know what you're like and I know a little bit what Sheena's like, okay? I don't know if anywhere near as well as...
I know a lot what Sheena's like, you know, so...
What?
I know a lot what Sheena is like, Papa.
Yeah, I know you do. And you think that she's not. You think, what do you think happened to her, darling? Let me ask you this. What do you think?
I don't know. No, and that's what I'm trying to find out.
Right. Okay, well, you find out then. I go find out. Maybe you will find out. When you find out, tell everybody. Yes. No?
Why, you know... Yeah.
What else can I say to you? I've tried to convince you for 3 days. Listen, do this. This is the way it is. After that, you keep telling me, listen, I have to go find out. I have to satisfy myself. Well, then feel free, go free. You know, it's a free world. Go find out. And then, you know, when you find out, tell somebody if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't.
I don't know why I don't know why you're getting angry or seemingly getting worked up.
No, I'm getting angry. I'm not getting angry, actually.
I'm
really not getting angry. I sound a bit angry. I'm not angry.
You know, everyone's always been talking about how I get angry, how I react, and all of that over the years. I'm not the one who's doing anything of that. It's all you guys who are getting worked up and...
Sweetheart, I'm not getting angry one bit. Please try to understand this. I'm really not angry. I'm frustrated a little bit at myself for not being able to convince you, right, that this is a futile exercise that you're going through right now. Okay? At this point. If you haven't heard from her at all in 2 weeks' time, try to listen to what I'm saying, okay? You haven't heard from her a squeak 2 weeks' time. Nobody's heard from her in 2 weeks' time. I think then is a time to get a bit concerned, all right? Up until then, I would be bat an eyelid at this point.
Okay, so from a week it's gone to 2 weeks, but
No, I'm not saying it's gone. That is me. But a week is what she said in her message, so that's fine. You can use that as a yardstick. I'm not saying it's gone from a week to 2 weeks, and if I say a month, that means the thing is going to do a month, okay? I'm not saying that. If you're afraid, right? If I haven't heard, if I was you, and if I hadn't heard from Sheena in 2 weeks' time, right? But she's saying a week, so use that as your preferred period of time. If you haven't heard from Sheena in 2 weeks' time, I'd be getting a bit concerned as to where the hell she's gone. Right? Up until then, I would not worry. I mean, I would not really get too stressed. I'd get stressed about why, what happened, how do I fix it, etc.
No. Look, it's not about how do I fix it.
No, that's what I would be thinking. Why has she done this? Right? What are the reasons why she could have done this, etc. Okay, I would be thinking internally.
I'm not thinking
I wouldn't be spending my time worrying about her at this point.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
It's not a young 14-year-old kid, darling. She was a 14-year-old kid who vanished out of the...
Is that clearing the throat mean anything? Are you itching to say something?
No. I'm just trying to process. Just trying to process.
Are you thinking that is something coming this way? Is it the frustration? Are you feeling Peter's frustration? Are you sharing his frustration?
I was just trying to make sense of his words. I
actually understand what he's saying.
Yes.
I mean, okay, again, let's take the position if Peter's absolutely innocent here, in the relative sense of the term, in this particular situation.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah. I mean, he's not thinking she's dead.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was at. I was like, I can imagine someone reacting this way if they think that this person has run off with someone else, jilted their son, and they're angry at them, and they just want the son to move on and not waste any more time. I can see that perspective. That's what I was trying to. That was the throat clearing.
So there's is there discomfort in that?
No, that actually made sense to me. I think the only discomfort is that with Peter, I'm back to square one. What is his involvement?
See, the funny thing is that almost at every turn, he is telling Rahul, yeah, go find out if that's going to bring you the peace, But remember, again, that Rahul has said, or I might do something to myself, right? So I can imagine for a father who's like, seriously, how can I convince you that it is not worth that? So, I mean, I think that was his trigger. Giving him 100%, he's not in the know. Even if he is in the know. But I think particularly if he's not, it's like, don't throw your life away now for someone who's run off. I mean, and his point of view is like, she's a grown woman. She's not a kid. Like, where could she have gone? What could have possibly happened? In his mind, like, this is a reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
That, okay, relationships break up and, she wants to study. So maybe she's studying outside the country. also. So maybe, you know, she wants to move on with that. And, all these guys, who knows, but it's like she's not with you. How can I get you to understand that such a person is not worth all this for? And she's probably just is doing her thing. Like, in other words, she's off having a great time and you're sitting here worried about her for what?
Yeah. Yeah, wanting to kill yourself.
Like, hi, she's with another guy.
Right. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, you should be out partying. In that, if he's thinking truly that she's off with someone else, he could be like, that's not right. And, do not think of this person. She doesn't deserve you.
Yeah, it almost sounds like this is out of experience. Like I thought Peter made a good point about
Oh, yeah, he seems to have a lot of experience. He was very convincing about
the partner who cheats. It's like it depends on the other partner's believability and the cheating partner's ability to get away with it. So I thought like he made good points there, and it seems like he's genuinely trying to reach his son and tell him that don't waste your time, don't waste your life. She's done whatever she has to do. Now you move on. Like you don't let her have any more power over you and ruin your life any further.
I mean, he's very convincing here as a caring father.
Yes, he is.
And it's not the first time. Like,
Yeah.
this is not the first time in these conversations, and it's not. It doesn't come across. These are not hard words for Peter.
Yes.
He's not struggling over how to appear,
Yes.
loving towards his son. So it's very.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he's trying to throw Rahul off the scent or something here.
No.
It's really like, look, if you want to spend your time, like he told him the name of the hotel.
Yes.
He didn't pause.
Yeah, he didn't even question why should we be off speaker. He didn't question that.
No, he got right off of
He
it.
just went with
Right. And he
Yeah.
was very forthcoming about the information that Rahul wanted. So it's like he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's suggesting. That,
Yes.
perhaps Sheena's there and perhaps this, it might involve his wife, right? Because that's where Indrani had stayed. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he knows the implication, but he didn't get angry about that. He gave the information.
No. Yeah, I can imagine my father talking to me like this, like, my frustration,
Yeah.
sweetheart, is just with myself that I can't convince you. Like, I'm not frustrated with you. I'm just trying to make sure that you make better decisions going forward about this girl who's ditched you and run away.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like to see you hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like to see you worried and thinking suicidal thoughts, and it's very upsetting. I can't seem to get through to you that this is just like life.
Yeah.
It happens. All right, let's see how this goes from here.
All right.
It's not a young 14-year-old kid, darling. If she was a 14-year-old kid who vanished out of the blue, yes, you'd be very concerned within a few hours. We're talking about a 27 or 26-year-old girl who's at work.
23. She's 23. Okay, she's 23.
Okay, she's 23 and she's independent.
Yeah.
Right? So, she's not a teenager, right?
Yeah.
So, if she's 23 and she's independent, she's working for a period of time, she's what?
All right. Well, I mean, her boss was equally as concerned as I was. Just the fact that it was quite uncharacteristic of her to disappear for a few days without really informing properly.
Right.
So that
what are you doing about it?
No, her boss obviously knows her in a way which he sees her every day and whatnot, as I do, right? So that's why listen. Let me finish. No, what is he doing about it? I don't know what he's doing about it. So
right.
So then he knows her quite well. I know her quite well. Now, you guys have said that, you know, you haven't spoken to her for the last 3 years, so you don't know her quite well. So we're telling you, you know, he's worried, I'm worried, telling you it's uncharacteristic of her to do this. And, you know, you guys have given me every single piece of, you know, possible alternative. It could be this, it could be that, except for accepting what we are saying to you, that it's uncharacteristic and it's thorough worrying. That's the one thing that you guys are not accepting, which is a little...
Please record this in your head. Okay? I'm agreeing with you, it is uncharacteristic. 1. I'm agreeing with you, it is a bit worrying. 2. Okay? I'm not disagreeing with you on those 2 at all, like you say. Right? You are worried more so because she shares the same house with you. Okay? Her boss is worried because she shares the same office with him. Okay? Therefore, they are much closer. She spends 8-10 hours a day in the office. She spends 8-10 hours a day with you. Exactly. So obviously, you're the closest people to her. Exactly. She'll be more worried than anybody else. Okay, but I'm not saying that you. I'm not. I don't think it's. I think it's uncharacteristic, and also, which is what you know. You got right to be worried. I'm saying by being worried, right? There isn't a solution to that just yet. Given that there are certain messages that say certain things, right? Her boss has not seen the message, I don't think, that Indrani received from her to say that I'll see you in a week or I'll get in touch in a week. All right? So her boss has not seen that message. You have not seen that message until now. You've not heard about that message until now.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Has the boss seen the messages she has sent you?
Yes, I've told him about them.
All of them?
Yeah, obviously. I'm not withholding information from anyone, right? I'm trying to find this girl.
All of them, including the one which...
Yeah, including the ones which I suspect were not sent from her, including those ones. And the boss said the same thing, okay? He said the same thing about a message that he received. He said, this, you know, I received this message, but this is quite uncharacteristic, and it doesn't seem like it's from her. She's you know, it's not the same handwriting, like the same type of, you know, it's not the same wording and all that. So he is equally as concerned as I am.
Let's say he's even more concerned, okay?
Right.
Now, what else would you like me to say?
No.
All I would say to you is don't do anything stupid to yourself as a result of this, right? You won't break your head thinking about it day in and day out. Fair enough. No problem. You do that. You can do that. But that's all I can say to you. I'm trying to rationalize it to you the way I understand it. And maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I am completely wrong and you are completely right. Maybe time will tell. No. I'm not saying I'm 100% right because I don't have any way of proving it just yet. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Darling?
I know.
Down the line, you'll find out whether this was right. It's not about me being right and you being wrong or vice versa.
Exactly.
We know which way was the way it panned out, right? But in due course of time.
Yeah.
But if you read through, lay everything out on a wall, right? All the bits of messages you have, all the messages that Sheena's boss has, the messages that Indrani has, emails, blah, blah, blah. Lay them all out on a wall so everybody can see all of them.
Papa, could you give me...
What will one deduce? People will deduce different things.
Could you
I'm deducing, darling, that she's done a run-up for a few days. Yeah. She's not going to be back for about a week. She'll get in touch at that time, and that's my deduction. Okay? Right. Well, and she's told different things to different people along the way.
Do you think I could have Mr. Devin Bharti's number, so then and his address as well, where I would be able to go and meet him? Is that a possibility?
If you have Mr. Devin Bharti's number, I'll give you Mr. Devin Bharti's number happily.
Cool.
No problem.
Cool.
I'll happily give you his number.
Yeah.
No, I'll give him a call that she's going to call him.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I won't call him straight away. I'll sort of wait like...
Did you hear that?
I couldn't understand what Indrani was saying.
Yeah.
Seemed to go in a
So
panic.
she's saying, I'll give him a call first to let him know he's calling.
Indrani said that? Or Pete? I heard Peter say that.
He's repeating what Indrani was saying.
Oh.
Should we go back?
Yes,
20
yes,
seconds?
please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
No, I'll give him a call that you're going to call him.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I won't call him straight away. I'll sort of wait, like you say, for a few days and wait
Well,
for...
that wasn't very much
Wait till
help, was it?
Thursday.
No. I'm sure you heard that right. Wow. Wow.
And it is at its max volume, so.
Oh yeah,
But
no, that's
he's
just hard to hear.
picking up what she said. Here it is again.
No, I'll give him a call that you're going to call him.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I won't call him straight away. I'll sort of wait, like you say, for a few days and wait for...
You wait till Thursday. I will give you his number, darling. I'm not going to distinct you.
Yeah.
Why would I not give it to you? If you want, if you go and meet him, please go and meet him in his office. Tell him you're my son. He'll meet you.
Yeah.
No, but he'll put you at ease also. You're talking to the big guy in the police then.
Yeah.
Directly.
Correct.
Not an issue. Why would I not give you a number? I'm not going to hide.
I'm not saying you wouldn't. I'm just saying, can you give
No.
it to me? That's all.
Of course I will. I will
Okay, cool.
definitely give it to you.
Go on then.
Take that as given.
Yeah, cool. So, what, you want to give?
Alright.
You want to text it to me, or you want to send me a business card, or shall I?
No, I will send it to you. I will give it to you. I'll send it to you. I'll text it to you.
Okay, cool.
All right?
Thank you. Because then I
will give him a...
because then I can talk to him also. Because then I can also talk to him and share my concerns with him and
Yes.
all of
you
that.
know what? I don't want to do that.
Having at this stage.
Rahul, I don't want you to do that until Thursday.
Yeah, no, I won't. Like you say, I'll wait until if Sheena has said in a message to Indrani that she's going to get in touch in a week's time, then I will wait to hear from that, right, before I even think about contacting this chap.
We wait for that week. I will give you the number. I will call Devin Bharti and I'll tell him that you're going to my son will give you a call. He's very concerned. He's getting, quite disturbed about the whole thing. And he wants to give you a call, talk to you. I'm going to give him your number. That's all. And I'll say, is that right? I'm sure he won't say no.
Okay. Cool.
All right?
Yeah. Because then I can put my mind at rest from from a sort of professional standpoint from him as well.
Yeah. And by then, if she shows up, it will be great.
Yeah.
She's all right.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know the way out of this one, right?
Send a fake text from Sheena or a fake email.
Yep. Like, something in which there's some kind of indication prior to, that puts her under that pressure, right? To have some kind of information which circumvents that, not that Rahul's easy to put off, but yeah. Okay. Going forward.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
No, just thinking that's actually like it's like things are getting a little out of her control in the sense that if he already has the number, then she won't be able to stop Rahul from calling if Peter has already sent the number. If he already sends a number after they hang up today, like after this call. So sure, like she'll try to like control that, but it's sort of like, she's losing her grip from it.
Well, I think what we're seeing is what she probably was most afraid of in terms of Sheena getting into the family. When these two guys are getting along, things roll out of control. And, the other thing is that it's not that hard to go to Devin Bharti and say, listen, he's truly upset. I would, he's probably going to tell you this. He's probably going to tell you that. I think he's having a hard time accepting the fact that she's taken up with someone else, that she no longer wants to be with him.
Yes.
I don't want him, he is going to ask you all kinds of questions. We want to try to keep it on the straight and narrow so that it, we're trying to protect his feelings, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Sort of try to shape the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Make him sound like the lovesick boy.
Right.
shape the narrative a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
And
I
she
can
could
see
even
that working.
say, I've heard from Sheena. She's calling me on a different number. I don't want to
Yeah,
reveal that number to him because obviously this can be pretty awkward.
yeah,
We don't want to get into all the, you know what I mean, and so forth.
yeah. Oof.
I mean, she did run up the flagpole that there's another number. I mean, a
Yes.
lot of groundwork getting laid.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we have to press on.
Yes.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, now listen, I'm going to go for a shower and a dump.
Yeah.
If you have time when you come in the evening, let me know if you're coming.
Okay. What time is your flight from Goa? About 4.
4 o'clock.
Okay, so you'll be there by about sort of 6ish, half 6, 7.
I'll be home by 6:30.
Okay. All right.
Home, as in
Yeah.
in Marlow.
Yeah, cool.
My house 6. So if you come for around that sort of time, that'd be good.
Cool. Cool. I will try to. I'll let you know either way.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know if you're coming, then I'll look out for you.
Okay.
All right, darling.
All right. Love you. Speak to you later.
Take a deep breath. I love you too.
Okay.
Say bye to Indrani.
Yeah. Go on.
Hang on.
I guess I have to.
Resignation,
Hi.
college papers.
You just try and take it easy. We'll just like we discussed, hopefully see you in the evening. We'll wait
Yeah,
till
I'll
Thursday.
try to.
I am absolutely sure, by then she will contact somebody. And, God forbid if she doesn't, God forbid. Then from there on, we will see what to do and, we will take a call. I'm my heart tells me she'll get in touch. So
Yeah.
don't,
Okay. Well, I really hope so.
So, I don't get, I'll tell you, I don't get a bad feeling about it. She's just done a little number of, like Peter said, a little bit, obviously without thinking this through, she's kind of put everybody in a bit of a worry, but I'm pretty sure she will kind of touch base, in the next few days. And,
Cool. Well,
and then on Thursday, if we still don't hear, we'll decide what to do. Yeah?
Yep. Wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I might see you guys later. I'll let you know in any case what's happening with.
Okay. And in case you hear anything, also any of your friends hear anything, let us know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, let us know immediately, so that then we know we don't have to sit and kind of worry or anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And
All
if
right.
we hear also, we'll let you know.
Cool. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks. All right. Take care. Bye. Yeah, Sheena sent me a message when she
The
left
next phone call.
Barge Land's End, which was around 8:30 in the evening on the 24th. And that message was saying that she's on the way to Royal China for dinner. Right? And that's that. Love you, XX. And she basically just said, just left Barge Land's End on way to Royal China for dinner, XX. Now, I phoned up Royal China, and they were open on that night. They weren't closed. So something has changed the plan between Darj Land's End from heading towards Royal China, which is what Sheena obviously thought she was doing. And then now apparently she was dropped off at Amarsan's sort of an hour later, 9:30 or something. And there's just, Papa, there's something going on. I'm sorry, this is not right. You know it as well. Anna, you know it.
Indrani, just while you called just now, and I told you I'll call you back, and the signal was bad and everything. So I was waiting, and Indrani said, listen, we drove past Royal China, it was shut. And if you want, you can go there and check if these people came in for dinner that night. Right?
They said that they went through their bookings list of the 24th for me, and they said there was no booking of Sheena or Indrani or Mukerjea or Bora, but they were definitely open. They had other guests there. They were not closed.
Right.
So when we went into Taj, that time was ocean.
When they went into Taj,
Let me tell you.
yeah, one second.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you guys
Let's
speak
hear
to the
from
people
you.
From Royal China, no? They said they've been open.
No, I know. 1 second, darling. Just hold on a second, please.
Rahul?
Hi.
Hi. Actually, listen, so that nobody is confused, I'm just giving you the sequence of events, okay? Sheena came at 6:30 to Amarsan's.
Yeah.
Okay, she bought a sari there.
Okay.
Okay, I bought her a sari because she wanted to buy a sari there.
Okay. Okay.
So we bought a sari there, and I mean, I'm sure I'll have the receipt already. You can go and ask her. She tried on 6-7 different saris. Okay.
Cool.
Out of that, she bought one sari, a new sari, brand new sari with 2 blouse pieces, everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we went to a jeweler shop. Okay.
Yeah.
You post the jeweler shop. When you cross the jeweler shop, you cross. When you go whatever to Taj Lands End.
Yeah.
You go past Royal China.
Yeah.
Okay, and she told me that latest. Yeah. And not in that. That I need to be back in front of Amar Sons by 9:15. I need to be back. Okay?
Right.
So at that point when we went, I said, fair enough, if we have time, because we were both hungry also. If we have time, we will eat. And your Royal China was shut at that point. Okay, so when we went, and I tried calling the Royal China number also, it was shut. I mean, obviously because it was shut, nobody picked up. We went to Taj Lands End. When we left Taj Lands End, it was tentatively about, I don't know, I'm just giving all very, because I have not kind of checked and looked at the watch every minute or anything, okay?
Obviously.
Must have been whatever, 9:45, 9, probably 9:15, I'm not sure, but I was back home, okay? I was back home by 9:45. So from Amar Sons, whatever time it takes to reach home, it should not be more than half an hour, which is why I was assuming. Because I had a guest, Mikhail, who flew in from, I'm just giving you, who flew in from outside, okay? Who's a very dear.
Now she admits to Mikhail. Interesting.
A dear friend.
Okay, let's go ahead. We'll parse this out.
Yeah.
A friend of ours.
Yeah.
Now this friend was waiting because the house was locked. I'm giving you a little bit of a background. Went to number 8 downstairs.
Yeah.
Waited there, so I went there, got him, and then he came up, we got him, then he was there, he spent the night there at home.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just giving you a little bit of a background. I didn't want to get into so much of detail.
Yeah.
So this is what the background to the Royal China thing is.
So it was closed or it wasn't closed? I didn't quite catch what you were saying.
Sorry? When we went in, it was shut. After that, I don't know. After that, it was already about 9 o'clock. She said, I have to leave.
Right. Okay.
When we went past, it was shut. Okay, so you can ask the Royal China guys what time they open. No, you'll get a sense of what time they open.
They must be opening
you can
around
go and
6
check
or
with them.
Yeah.
Sorry?
They must be opening at around 6 or something, no? 6, half 6 for...
So ask them, no? Then you'll know what time they open, because we couldn't have crossed it before 6.
Yeah, well,
we would have crossed it at least by about 7:30. So why don't you give him a call? Ask, and you get back to me. Tell me.
I got a message.
And then you can go.
Indrani, I got a message from Sheena at about 8:34, saying that she's just left Taj Lands End and she's on way to Royal China for dinner. So that's the impression.
Rahul, you have received a whole bunch of messages. You've received a whole bunch of messages. I'm not disputing that. Okay, I'm not saying for once. But you cannot choose and pick, only this message I want to believe, this message I don't want to believe. You can't do that.
I'm going through them one by one, trying to, get out the information.
Why can't he do that?
Rahul, 2 things I want you to do. I wanted to check with Royal China, what time do they open? When we went, it must have been, I'm just saying, it must have been, say, around when we went to Taj, it must have been around 7:15, whatever. 6:30 she met me, let's say 7:15. Now ask them that were they shut or open. Just call them and ask them, what time do you open? The shutter was shut.
Yeah.
What time do you open your shutters? Now, if they tell you that, yes, we open at 6 o'clock, then it's a different thing. Then, I must have imagined that if they say we open it at 7:30 or 8, then you know what I'm telling you is true, no?
Yeah, correct.
So will you call them and do that for me, please?
Yeah,
just check once.
Of course.
Yeah, call them and do that, no? And then you also find out that the 2 women come. They'll give you a full distinct. Yeah, there'll be receipts, there'll be distinct. There's cameras, for God's sake, they'll see us there.
Yeah, well, they don't have cameras, but they said, they have booking information and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it can't be possible that 2 of us go there and nobody sees us, no?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you first do that, Rahul. I want you to first call, find out. I don't know what time it opens, and call me back. Call me.
If her message was genuine, right? If her message was genuine, and she's heading to Royal China for dinner, then something in between 8:34 and 9:15 her plan has changed, right?
Listen, if
it's a a big
the
if.
message is genuine, if Royal China was genuinely open, okay?
Yeah.
When we went in, I am not kind of, just cooking this up to tell you, when we went, it was shut, okay? I also tried calling that number. I called my secretary for the number. I tried calling in case they pick it up or whatever. Nobody picked up, and then we went, and then, by about, we must have actually left Taj only by about probably 9 o'clock or so, not even before that. So, if I remember correctly, I don't know what time she sent you a message or all that. I don't know about what messages she's been constantly on the phone. Okay, even when she was talking to me, she was on the phone. So it wasn't like she was not on the phone.
She was not on the phone.
She was constantly. It was not that she was not on the phone. She was constantly on the phone on SMSs and all. So I don't know whom she was, whether she was SMSing you, whether she was SMSing someone else. I don't know all that. No. So you just check on this at what time did they open the shutters. Just ask them that.
Yeah.
So then you will know that if they say okay, we open the shutters at 7:30, then you know that I'm speaking the truth. No.
So
then there is nothing.
What time did you go past Royal China?
I don't know, Prasi, 6:30 you dropped her.
Okay.
Then we went, she looked around, got some sarees from Amar Sons, and then we went from there. We went past Royal China, went to this place near Moti Mahal.
Now she doesn't know the time.
She looked around, she checked out 6 saris, and she bought
a saree.
Before it was the reverse, by the way.
She tried on 5 or 6 saris, and she bought 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
She went past the jewelers first.
Okay, 3, 4.
Yes.
So
Blouses, they come with the sarees. The blouses, they come with the sarees. I don't have minute details, Rahul. I don't have everything because I have not been sitting there.
I'm just trying to think I'm just trying to
So I need to keep account,
I'm just trying to think how long it takes to try on 3 or 4, 5 saris, whatever. Okay, and then the time span. I have to work it out.
There are people who, Rahul, listen to me. Why don't you do one thing? She must have SMS'd you when we went to Taj Lands and also. So you check what time we were at Taj Lands and
Well,
so he should check.
8:34. She said she's on the way to.
Yeah.
On the way to.
Obviously, we must have from Taj Lands. No, we must have been at Taj Lands at some time. No.
Yeah, you must have been there before.
Send you a message. No, Rahul. We went to.
Indrani, there's no point being.
What? I keep hearing.
She doesn't want to commit to a time. Oh my God, this is frustrating to listen to her. Like she'll go back on everything that she said the minute she thinks that she's going to be confronted on it. She won't commit to a time. It's like, Rahul, you check what time it was and you tell me. It's one thing to say that I lost track of time and it was this thing, which is what she started with, and now she just doesn't want to commit to a time.
Well, her key issue there, and I'm sure you understood this, was that, she's got a problem now because Rahul had gotten a text for her from Sheena at 8:30, and so now she's got the 6:30 drop from Armison's, and the 8:30 Taj, and now she's got to fit in this jewelry thing, because this is where we started, like near the beginning of the phone calls. And she's got to fit in this Royal China story, which is truly odd.
Yes.
We both know that. And these things are, in the general area of each other. But it's not so easy to get between all of them in the timeline. That's number one.
Yes.
Number two, I really like Royal China shutters. I mean, for them, so it's like this, and you know this. If they were at Taj at 8:30, if the text message is correct, it's very odd. Why wouldn't you just have dinner at Taj? Why? What are you doing at Taj then? That also doesn't make sense to me. If you're sitting at the Taj, why not have dinner at the Taj? I mean, okay, so you decide, no, we want Chinese from Royal China. Okay, fine. But if they were on their way from 8:30, and Indrani's thing is I needed to be at Armison's by 9:15, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're leaving from Taj at 8:30. That's taking that route, which we've shown in other episodes. Going down Hill Road at 8:30, okay, it's a little lighter traffic. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But for it to be shut post
Yeah.
8:30 is a near impossibility.
Yeah. Peak
If they
time.
were open on that day, they had bookings on that day, they have proof of bookings on that day.
Yes.
There's no way those shutters were shut post 8:30. Now
Yeah.
Indrani's got a problem because if Armasun's as at 6:30 and she tried on 5 saris, right?
Yes.
As the story goes, 5, 6, or 7, whatever.
Yes.
You know, that's at least 40 minutes. I mean, even if you're rushing.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like
So
best case scenario. Like, first you got to select 5 saris.
yes, it takes a
Trying them
while.
on. I mean, what are you doing? Wrapping them around your pants, basically, I guess, right? Like you're not even really
But
trying them on. Right.
but she's
You're
making it sound like there was no introduction to each other. They just rushed, picked out 6 saris that
exactly
were right there. Didn't say
right.
hi hello to each other. They're seeing each other after years, but they just rushing through to fit Indrani's timeline. So we know we said we'll try finishing the calls today, but stick with us until next time when we discuss Indrani's version of the events of the night that Sheena disappeared. See you next time.